Good morning, bad morning, whatever you're having. My name is Lou, and if you are a Gen Z and or past the age of 15, the adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl needs no introduction. The memes shall overwhelm you. Dreams shall overtake you. The fact that Taylor Lautner didn't reprise his role as Sharkboy in the 2020 follow-up to it shall fill you with an unbearable sadness. Before you get over it after you realize this is the same guy who pretended to be non-white in that one vampire movie that will not be mentioned. Either way, Sharkboy and Lavagirl is a true classic. You can't mistake it for any other childhood movie. Its place in pop culture is so firmly entrenched that you can just sing the first verse of the Dream song or yell, "Why did you make me out of lava? Why, Max?" And people will either join you in an off-key medley or laugh at your scarily similar reenactment. As such, why delay this check any longer? After all, I know everything, and you know nothing. Yet. Let's fix that. By the end of this review, all of you will love this movie as much as I do. With your parents! So the film begins with a quote that Lavagirl says in the film, because I guess they thought we'd all black out during that part. Shark used to be a white boy living with a marine biologist father who called him Sharkboy because he loved sharks. Yes, I am blown away by how rich and complex that is too. We're never told his real name, or even told that he has one, so I'm just gonna assume that's the name on his birth certificate. Anyway, Shark Kid lives in a laboratory, right in the middle of the ocean. Thank God there's no such thing as tsunamis, or hurricanes, or tornadoes, or any of that natural disaster stuff that would make living here for a long time unsustainable. Oh wait. As to be expected, the laboratory is swept away by this magnificent storm, and Sharkface is separated from his father. As you can tell, he's very torn up about it. But all is not lost. The sharks find him and decide to take him under their fins. He's literally sleeping with the fishes, being trained in the ways of the shark, whatever that means. Eventually, the sharks spread whatever disease they had onto him, and he's beginning to grow shark parts like gills, fins, and shark teeth. Perfectly normal stages of puberty, I'm sure you'll agree. Our main character, Max, catches himself a shark boy while going fishing. He somehow manages to find an entire tank to keep him in, which is really funny to me because besides the fact that where did you even find a setup like this? Shark Flop obviously does not need to be in bodies of water to stay alive. I like to believe that Shark Flop just started flopping around like a fish one day and Max panicked and chucked him in the bathtub, but I have no idea where he got this aquascape looking setup. Editing Lou here. I'm now realizing that that wasn't a tank. It was just a regular shower. So my deepest apologies there. But it still doesn't make any sense why Max kept him in there because he doesn't need to be in bodies of water to live. So, my point still stands. Anyway, Max learns from Sharksnap that he's been searching the universe for his father, including on a planet that is quote-unquote
so cool, it makes you drool.
And, right out of nowhere, Lavaful shows up to take Sharkless back to Planet Drool. She asks Max to go with her, but Max says he has school, to which the two just sort of look sad and leave. You know what? I get it, Max. I get left out of things all the time, too. It is then revealed that Max was telling the story to his classmates, presenting it as a true story of what he did this summer. Good idea, Max. Why don't you add in your adventures with Tintin and Aslan while you're at it? The kids start throwing crumpled balls at him, which they should, because clearly Max is not right in the head. Except for Marissa, that girl, who I didn't even know the name of until the end of the movie, so it's not awkward. Linus, the best character in the movie, calls bullshit on Max's story, and proceeds to tell a story about Dork Boy, half dork, half boy. Hey, at least the story is actually true. Mr. Electricidad? That's just not, it's not realistic. It's just not realistic. No one has a name like that. But anyway, he pulls them both aside after class to discuss their behavior. He tells Linus he earned a minus, and he has no slyness, for he's the highest. He tells Max to wake up and get some damn friends. Linus then decides to torment Max some more. When Max stands up for himself, Linus loses it. This is an assault on everything he stands for. He won't tolerate this disrespect, so Max is cooked. Max, instead of just running across the street, heads for the playground, trying to keep his dream journal out of Linus's clutches. I love how Linus directs these boys like they're his minions. He's so over-the-top evil. I love it. But eventually, Max loses the book after climbing a jungle gym and that happens. We then go to Max's room, and he has the sickest setup. I remember this movie made me want a lava lamp for years because I thought they looked like the coolest thing ever. Max notices some strange tracks on the floor that honestly look like the work of an iguanodon than anything else. But he follows them downstairs to the kitchen, where he discovers bubbling milk and half-eaten cookies. I know Santa Claus is going to be pissed as hell, but he believes this is proof of Sharkboy and Lavagirl's existence. Max's parents discover him in the kitchen and scold him for being a kid. Parents tend to do that. Then they scold each other super passionately. I mean, you can really see the fire in their eyes. Max wishes for a storm to come so he doesn't have to go back to school, which he says out loud to himself while no one is around.
Please don't let me have to go to school. They'll make fun of me, I know it. I wish I could just escape this loser world and go to Planet Drool. Games and toys and laughs and fun.
Thanks for letting me know, Max. God knows I wouldn't have picked up on this myself. Max wakes up, disappointed that the world hasn't been destroyed, and comes down to eat breakfast, where his parents once again squabble. His dad asks him if he wants to finish making Tobor, the robot he found in his closet. Max then reminds him how bad of a parent he is.
It won't work.
Well, how do you know?
Because you told me it wouldn't.
He also talks to his mom, a completely disinterested Kristen Davis, because we literally never learn their names, about his dreams. No, seriously, the woman is sleepwalking throughout the film. She should have been the main character of this film. Clearly she daydreams better than Max does. At school, a storm begins brewing outside, and for some reason, instead of releasing the kids to go back home, as whatever this is could easily blow these tiny children away, the school acts as though this is normal. I guess that's the one realistic part of this movie. Max arrives, and Mr. E scolds him for having the nerve to talk to his daughter. Wait a minute, his daughter? They don't look anything alike! Fine movie. Anyway, Linus arrives, and Max demands the return of his journal. But when Max gets it back, he discovers scribbles and cross marks that just barely cover up his clearly still legible art and handwriting. But I get it, I would definitely kill him dead too. Then, just one of many iconic scenes in this film commences.
He ruined my dream journal! I did not! Mr. Electric, send him to the principal's office and have him expelled!
The storm outside becomes stronger, blasting the windows open, and then, for some reason, Shark Gill and Lava Rock blast a hole in the side of the school to come sailing through. Dude, the property damage on that must have been nuts. And yeah, they probably could have seriously injured a kid or two, I guess. But here they are, Shark Eagle and Lava Owl, here to squint and put their 360 neck turn prowess to the test. This isn't really relevant to the recap, but I wanted to put the scene in here because I thought it was funny.
She's hot.
Lava Chick informs him that they're taking him to Planet Drool, as it's in trouble and only he can help. So they take a Jaws poster ship to Planet Drool, with no idea how to actually fly it.
So, how do you fly it?
How did you even get here? Anyway, once they finally land on Planet Drool, we are treated to some of the fakest looking CGI since the Scorpion King, which, if you watch this movie at all as a kid, you'll know it has no shortage of. Shark Deep and Lava Poetic attempt to remind him of his true power and destiny, since the planet will promptly be destroyed in 45 minutes. The planet will be destroyed in less than an hour, and you just came to get Max now? Boy Shark and Girl Lava take him to Mount Everest. You got me real good there, guys. Where Mr. Electric holds the kids hostage and literally tortures them by depriving them of sleep. But even though they successfully manage to stop these unstoppable roller coasters, they still have to confront Mr. Electric and make him answer for his crimes. So they take his roller coaster into his man cave and we meet him.
I can't say it! This is a villain so evil, so sinister, so horribly vile, that even the utterance of his name strikes fear into the hearts of men!
The only safe way to refer to this King of Darkness is simply... him.
No words. I find this only slightly more unsettling than I did when I was a teenager. For the most part, I kind of admire how well his body matches his facial expressions. Listen, I've watched this film 2 million times. None of this can disturb me. So anyways, he attacks them, and you gotta love some of the physical comedy and acting in this film. Shark Brace's teeth start to sharpen again, and that's how you know he means business, when his mouth looks like a dentist's nightmare. Lava Woman and Sharkman try to awaken Max's inner Floyd Mayweather, but he doesn't remember his true power, claiming it's all in his dream journal. Mr. Electric then captures them and sends them to the ranch. The dream graveyard. Mr. Electric is confronted by the ruler of this planet, Shodan from System Shock 2, in order to capture Max before they successfully stop the spread of the darkness. Just take a look at some of the stuff in this dream graveyard. Triceratops, Legos, and... is that a Game Boy? Seeing the darkness spreading, Sharkhead and Lavaface tell him to sit down and dream so they can get the hell out of there. He dreams up cookies and milk. Shark Tanisha suddenly goes all Bad Girls Club on him and decides the best way to get Max to sleep is a good fist to the face. But Max saves himself from such a fate by discovering Tobor in the graveyard, who is also voiced by George Lopez. This dude was working overtime in this film. You kind of have to admire that. Tobor explains to Max that he could have either a sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare, but they might want to lead more towards the former. If he goes to the land of milk and cookies, a safe, sweet place, he is likely to dream well. So Tobor flies them through the sky on his eyes and mouth to the train of thought. All they have to do is stay focused and they'll be on the right track. Badumtis. But, as Shark Jimmy points out, there is no track to keep track of. Badumtis again. So the three are forced to leap from the train into the land of milk and cookies. Then Max finds out that his parents have turned into titans. No, really, they literally try to eat Max alive. While Mr. Electric is getting closer, Max tries to sleep again. Sharknuts is being very aggressive about it, so Lava Bolts of all people have to tell him to chill out. Maybe sing him a song?
Keep it up, Shark Boy.
Just relax, lay about, or my fist will put you out. Dream, 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 dream.
Alright, off the cuff for a second. This had me in the most serious of childhood chokeholds. Nothing could top this. I could sing this entire song. I had this memorized, down pat. I was trying to do the moves in my living room. This is how serious it was. Guys, you know, if you watched this movie when you were a kid, you know. Anyway, the darkness is encroaching quickly on them, which causes Max's dream to fizzle into a nightmare. Then, as if things couldn't get any worse, Mr. Electric shows up, and they're forced to fight him and his plug hounds off since Max forgot to dream of gas for Sharkfin's shark bike. How do these people get around on these things with no fuel? Lava Fart discovers her powers are weakening and gets a little wrapped up, and Shark Butt, on the other hand, is having the time of his life. I mean, bro is pulling out all the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon stops. Then Max all of a sudden turns into a Kill Bill film and begins wailing on these plugs, at least until he gets his ass tasered and turned into a Razorhead. Then Lava Goo just melts into a puddle. And here's your sleep paralysis demon for tonight. No need to thank me, it's what I do. Max tries his best, but can only manage to summon a banana split boat. So they make like a tree and leaf.
It's made like a banana and split.
Max explains what he saw in his dream, a heart. Shark Zhao, realizing it's the crystal heart, says they can use it to stop time. They might even get to see a glimpse of the Ice Princess herself. Lava Pow goes all Bernadine on him for even suggesting such a thing. Not stopping time, I mean seeing the Ice Princess. But there's a tiny little crack in this brilliant egg of theirs. Lava Brain can't get across the bridge, and the only way she can cool down enough is to be asleep. She tries sleepwalking but ends up sneezing and then falling asleep immediately afterwards. I don't know, okay? I'm just the messenger. But Spaghetti-O, the plug hounds have caught up to them, and Shark Yelp has no faith in her. So once his shrieking self wakes her up, ooh boy, does that send her into a tizzy. And Mr. Electric ends up capturing them anyway. Well, that was so full of purpose, I think a dolphin might be jealous. Anyway, they're taken directly to the Dream Lair, where they meet Minus, responsible for all this nonsense. He dastardly informs Sharklick and Lava Clash that they shall, or already have, lost everything that they hold dear. He tells Max that in his mind lies all the fear, and that he shall rule Planet Drool. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, there's vomit on his sweater already, mom's spaghetti. Minus traps them in a cage below, and Shark and Lava can't get the bars open. That is, until Lalas make their terrifying presence known.
You're singing at a frequency I highly trainers find disturbing.
And then Shark turns into what Michael Sembello would probably describe as a maniac. Dude ends up chewing through those things like it's breakfast food and letting them out. Max steals his journal back and dramatically announces SB's father
Willie is at the bottom of the ocean. He's in a submarine. Looking for you.
Why did he pause like that? He honestly just wanted to mess with that boy. Curious to see what it says about her, LG touches the book, only for it to burn up into ash because even it's getting sick of her. Then she does the thing. LG gets all Batman the Animated Series, even questioning SB's role in her life. After all, they're not compatible, even though they've been cooperating and working as a unit just fine throughout this entire movie. But Max says all they have to do is believe, you know? They're Sharkboy and Lavagirl. They can do anything. This is all the motivation they need. Meanwhile, Mr. Electric and Minus discover that Max is very close to successfully defeating them, so Minus decides to hit him where it hurts, by destroying Shark Lava and Girl Boy. The main trio have made their way into the Ice Princess's castle and attempt to retrieve the Crystal Heart. Shark Twist totally fails and Lava Nasty heats up, so Max takes it upon himself to get the heart. He gets it, but Shark Fin messes this up and he drops it. Aww. The guards at the castle find them. Well, if you could call it finding. It seems more like they were asleep on the job. But either way, they're taken to the throne room, where they finally meet the Ice Princess. And it turns out this quest was also entirely useless, as she's the only one who can use the heart and she cannot leave the castle. We're also supposed to believe Cinderblock over here is her father too? What is with this movie and questionable biology? After acquiring the real Crystal Heart, we're treated to this hilarious shot of Max and Shark Snow pushing Lava Dog across the ice like she's a sled. They attempt to use the Crystal Heart, but the planet powers pound before they can. Shark Stupid gets real mad at Mr. Electric when he shows up and falls right into his trap. Watch how fast he goes here. Now look at how fast he swims when his life is on the line. Bro has no survival skills. But the electric eels manage to get him and shock him out of consciousness. For some reason, Shark Useless can't hold his breath underwater for long, forcing Lava Man to go get him, even though this means she'll die too. Seeing both of his dreams have kicked the bucket, Max sees Tobor again and realizes maybe he ought to dream a better dream. All of his dreams were about him escaping the world when the world needed his dreams, just like the Avatar. Shark Spring wakes up suddenly, sees Lava dead, and takes her back to her volcano. Once he gets there, he chucks her in like a bag of rocks. She comes back to life fast as hell too, and generates so much light that it overrides the darkness that has spread across the planet. This makes Max realize his true potential, and he turns into an MP100 character. With enough power, Max is finally able to face off against Midas, and so begins the weirdest superhero fight you'll ever witness on screen. Meanwhile, Shark Boss sends his Shark Mafia after Mr. Electric. Max realizes Linus is just a lonely boy who needs to crush the dreams of others since his own dreams have been crushed. How much crush could a wood crush if a wood crush could crush wood? So Planet Drool is saved! But Mr. Electric has other plans, and he takes off towards Earth to destroy Max in his sleep. He blinks 3 times and he's back in his classroom. And the aforementioned storm turns out just to be Mr. Electric himself, here to wreak havoc. Then Mr. Electricidad says an admittedly pretty funny line.
They dreamt me as a big brown bad guy. I'm not bad.
Then, you know what? Just watch the scene yourself.
No, I don't. You're my best friend.
I love you.
I love you too. Come back! Please, come back.
Equally as hilarious is when Max's dad gets sucked up into a tornado as well. Mr. Electricidad says he's here to inspire the answers, but clearly this is a take the kids but not me situation. Either way, he starts asking the kids what they should do. Max guides Marissa into using her crystal heart. While Mr. Electricidad protests at first, all it takes is a little let her out from Max, and that's enough to convince him to send his daughter out to face a giant electric monster. Cool. Marissa doesn't even have to say a word. She frozones the hell out of Mr. Electric and blasts him into ice-cold smithereens, and in doing so, has awakened Mr. Electricidad out of his sleepwalking. Sometime later, Max gives another report. He tells the class Shark Daddy has become the king of the ocean, but still hasn't managed to find his father, so obviously he just doesn't want to find the man. How are you king of the ocean? And you still can't find your father. Where is he hiding? Oh my goodness. Anyway, Lava Mommy has become queen of the Earth's volcanoes, represented by this... represented by this shawl thing they just draped over her suit. Is it part of her skin? Give her a crown or something. Oh, God. And the film ends with Max officially rebuilding Tobor, finally working to make his dreams real, even though it's fairly obvious his dreams didn't need any help to become real. The end. You ever go back to watch a film that you were obsessed with as a kid and you go, oh, I remember this, every 10 minutes? Sharkboy and lavagirl are the epitome of this universal experience for me. I literally said out loud in the scenes, oh yeah, I remember when Max's parents tried to eat him, or how Minus had a brain fart, or when lavagirl melted into a puddle. I mean, it might make more sense with context, but I doubt it will. Plus, it's more amusing for you to try and figure out what context could possibly justify that summary. I think Sharkboy and lavagirl was generally meant to be a satire of superhero movies. Like, I know thanks to Marvel we've had that superhero resurgence and fatigue, but Sharkboy and lavagirl is targeting the superhero films of the 2000s and putting this not only kid-friendly but clear satirical spin on it. The bad CGI, the MacGuffin magical items, the over-the-top badassery of Sharkboy and lavagirl. I really think there is an argument to be had about the parodic nature of the movie. But even if you don't think Sharkboy and lavagirl could be called a satirical masterpiece, I would like to ask any hater of this movie and the CGI something. What part of this film indicates that you are supposed to take it seriously? More than once, I've heard people say that the film makes very little sense, and that's very funny to me, considering we are discussing something that has sharks with vocal cords in it. This is a goofy kids movie, and it knows it. It's not pretending that it can stand toe-to-toe with X2, but it's not trying to do that. It's trying to give kids a little bit of comfort, a little bit of power, telling them to hold on to their dreams. As an adult trying to break into art and writing, being surrounded by a lot of no men and AI, being told to make my dreams a reality is something that every kid deserves to hear. They need to hear that it's still possible to love what they do and do what they love. Because sometimes even when you're grown, you still need to hear that. The two Taylors were great for Sharkboy and lavagirl. Dooley plays lavagirl mostly gentle, soothing, but when she gets fired up, it's actually really funny. Like, you kind of have to roll with some of the less than stellar acting. I like to see it as part of the satire. Sharkboy's over-the-top, broody, violent nature was clearly just Lautner prepping to play the same character in that vampire movie franchise that will not be named. I actually think it works in the film's favor. You could also see it as part of the satire. The main actor, Caden Boyd, also gives a pretty charming performance as Max. At some points, it even feels like the actors are having fun, especially George Lopez. The dude is chewing, digesting, and shitting out scenery. The kid who plays Linus has the perfect campy villain presence. Sasha Pietiers, hopefully that's how you pronounce it, is another gentle presence in the film that puts you at ease. Everyone in the film is delivering, which results in the cinematic equivalent of a glitter bomb package that doesn't blind you. Overall, Sharkboy and Lavagirl, depending on which way you look at it, holds up pretty well, even over 20 years later. No, I'm not old, shut up. It's a fun, campy, silly as hell kids movie and fully owns its crazy batshitness. It's no wonder most of my generation remember it so fondly, still reference it today, still have an attachment to it. It's a time we all wish we could go back to, where we have the courage to believe in our dreams. I know I do. No one at any age wants to be told that things are hopeless. Sharkboy and Lavagirl reminds us that it doesn't always have to be, as long as you're willing to make that dream a reality. If you'd like to see more Nostalgia Check videos, please leave requests in the comments. I'll actually read them. I do care what you guys think, and I'll actually take suggestions because I do want you to watch these videos. Cool? Cool. Okay, thanks, bye.